It's ready. We're ready.
Is it going? Are we live? Okay, good. I didn't see it go live. I was looking down. Hi, everybody. Make sure you go to our website at chicksontheright.com. Make sure you're going there every single day. Bookmark it if you haven't done that already. What is wrong with you? Do it. You guys, we have an American Business Spotlight person.
And it's somebody we know.
Somebody a lot of you know. It's very exciting. Introducing McCoy's Misfit Squad Retro Realtor. I think I'm getting that right. McCoy Misfit Squad Retro Realtor. I'm going to screw that up a million times. I am, Morgan.
It's kind of a mouthful.
God, Morgan, it's a very long title. McCoy Misfit Squad Retro Realtor. Now Morgan directly serves Pensacola and surrounding areas, as well as Dallas, Fort Worth. She's a Texas girl now, but she does both Florida and Texas. So even if you don't live in these areas, you can call Morgan, you can call them, her firm, and they're going to research and find the best realtor where you are and where you are moving. So call her. Okay. Call her. She's the best.
And she is participating in our ABS, our American Business Spotlight.
This is
that is the coolest thing ever.
It is the coolest thing ever. So you can text her your full name, your phone, your email, your birthday, your home address, and you can receive a local market update each month. You're going to have the opportunity to win 5 fully paid Chicks annual insider memberships. This is amazing. So her team motto is honesty, integrity, and tattoos. 1% of the team's income goes to their Misfits Moonshot mission. This helps build a village to support life skills, financial literacy, and career development of women coming out of sex trafficking, drug addiction, domestic abuse, and homelessness. I love that. And then she offers special discounts for direct services also. So call them for details. So go to our website, chicksontheright.com/sponsors. Click on the banner for ABS, the American Business Spotlight, where you can find a link to McCoy's Misfit Squad Retro Realtor. Okay, I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say it 18 times. McCoy's Misfit Squad Retro Realtor. Morgan and her team of realtors will help you find your next best home and sell your current home regardless of where you live. Text your information to Morgan and you will possibly win one of 5 annual insider memberships. That is so awesome, Morgan. Yay.
Okay, but here's the number. If you're listening and not watching, the number to text is 904-610-9118. And so I think you want to text your name, phone number, email, birthday, and home address, and you will be entered to win one of these 5 annual insider memberships. And if you're not an insider yet, you're about to meet all your best friends.
Yeah, exactly. All your peeps. So yay.
Yay, Morgan!
Yay for Morgan. ABS. Love it. Fantastic.
That is awesome. Okay, so let's get into some headlines because I have to show you guys the cutest thing ever. Do you want to see the cutest thing ever?
Yeah.
Okay, look at this. This is the world's oldest woman.
The world's
oldest woman. She's going to be 116 in March. Currently 115 years old. She lives in San Francisco. Her name is Maria Branius. And she is now offering and is participating in being researched for science in longevity. So like actual scientists, and she's agreed to this, are like studying her blood and her genetics and everything about her to learn more about how someone can live so healthily this long, because apparently she has no health issues outside of mobility and maybe a little bit of hearing loss. Beyond that, her mind is sharp. She can tell you stories about when she was 4. Like she has perfect memory. Her mind is super sharp. She actually has a Twitter account where she gives updates. I know. Yeah. So and if you want to follow her, her name is Maria Branius 112 on Twitter. So MARIABRANYAS 112.
Can you scroll down? I want to see what she looked like when she was young.
Oh yeah. Let me do that. Let me get to, there she is. This is when she was 18.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
That is remarkable. Wow.
And so she's just, she is just living.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredible. 116 is she's going to be on in March. I just love that story.
I love it too. She's got to get out of San Francisco though, because she's going to get mugged there. I'm worried about her safety.
I know. That's the last thing that we need to have happen to the
To
oldest
the
woman
beautiful
ever.
116-year-old woman. Yeah.
Anyway,
Mhm.
awesome story. That is.
wonderful.
Yesterday, we talked about the fact that the Israeli government was going to hold a press conference for every journalist who was interested in participating, and there were lots, because they were going to release, as of yet unseen, video footage from the GoPro cameras that like Hamas terrorists wore while they were committing their atrocities. And they decided, because everybody seems to have forgotten like what actually happened on October 7th, and everybody's all like, oh no, poor Palestinians, oh my God, ceasefire. They are not remembering what actually took place, or they're dismissing how horrible it really was. And so, as promised, they had like a 45-minute presentation of some of the most horrific scenes you could ever imagine. And it is out there on Twitter. I've retweeted a lot of that content. And I always put the caption, "Do not look away," because unfortunately people are looking away and they're not recognizing how horrific this is and how close it is to being here. I mean, I saw someone just now say, "F Israel, America first." Get the fuck out of our life, because you're disgusting. And there's actually room you can hold in your heart for both countries at the same time. This is, of course, America comes first, but we care about America and not having those same terrorists come here next.
Right.
And so it matters that Hamas is destroyed. So
Yeah,
horrible
and
stuff.
you always tag, the Rashida Tlaibs and the
Yeah.
AOCs and those tweets when you send it out. And you listen, it's a no thanks. When people say, I don't really care about Israel. A lot of the reason that people are saying, oh, this didn't happen. It's like Palestinians, and I feel so bad. And Hamas is not that bad. A lot of the reason that people feel that way, and a lot of reason there's been so much brainwashing, is because of our American media.
Yeah.
So, this is an American problem. It is. I mean, look at it's a complicit media and a complicit educational system here in America. It's our problem too.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it is something that we have to be concerned about, because there are kids, and we've talked about it over the past couple of weeks, obviously, kids in universities who are brainwashed to think that, oh my God, the terrorists aren't that bad. In fact, they're the victims. Really? Oh my God.
And by the way, why aren't we seeing any protests against Hamas by people? I mean, you can have like the biggest heart for the plight of the Palestinian civilians, but where are the people who are, none of the people that are in those pro-Palestinian marches or protests are at all condemning Hamas at all. And in fact, some of them are even waving the Hamas flags. Like, they are literal terrorist
They're
supporters.
lunatics, absolute lunatics here on our soil. So if you think it doesn't affect you, your head is straight up your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? For all the people that claim that there's some sort of genocide by Israel of Palestinians, or that there's a apartheid or ethnic cleansing or all these other ridiculous terms that they use against Israel, can you please then explain how, if there's this genocide taking place at the hands of Israel against Palestinians, can you explain why the Palestinian population continues to explode? Is it just that Israel are like the worst genociders ever? Or maybe could it possibly be that there is no genocide? You know what I mean? Like, you don't see explosions in populations that are being genocided. That makes no sense. I can't.
It's an excellent question.
I cannot.
Excellent
People are
question.
so dumb.
I'll wait for the answer.
Yeah, don't hold your breath for that one. Also, 2 more hostages released. 2 elderly women, grandmas, were released by Hamas. And one of them, there's video of her turning around, shaking the hand of her captor and wishing him shalom.
Oh my God.
I mean,
oh my God. Like, that's like, if you can forgive like that,
right?
Like, seriously,
it's just amazing.
Congratulations. Because I try to be a good Christian. I try really hard. I curse. I'm a terrible. I mean, I'm really sorry. Like, I try. People that can forgive like that. Oh my gosh. It's a whole other level. It's a whole other level. I try so hard. That is unreal. People that can do that. It's,
yeah, it's amazing.
Props.
Karen Cirincione. I have no idea if I'm butchering your name or not, but that's a fantastic name. Karen Cirincione. Thank you. She says, hi, chicks. My grandma, Edith St. Clair, lived until 108, passed away in 2020. She said wine, chocolate, and crossword puzzles were the key to her long and happy life. And she also smiled all the time.
You're going to live to be like 152.
I like all of those things.
Yeah,
I like wine, chocolate, and crossword puzzles.
Right.
And I love smiling. Smiling's my favorite.
She's basically Elf. She's going to live to be, Mock is going to be 152, you guys. I'm calling it right now.
And Leah, hello, Leah. Leah Shalek is here. Thank you. She says, people don't know what life is really like in Israel, even when there's no bad stuff going on. Leslie L., thank you. It's interesting that during the baseball playoffs, they ran a commercial to support Israel. I figured they took the same stance as BLM and the media. That is interesting. Wow. I wonder who sponsored that ad. Interesting indeed. Thank you very much, you guys, for all of those super stickers. Very much appreciate it. And also would like to remind everybody that if you have a financial planner in your life right now, or maybe you don't have anybody, maybe you're just sort of winging it, or maybe you're not winging it, but you have a financial planner who just sort of dumps all of your portfolios, your IRAs, your 401ks. They just say, yeah, here's the right investment category for your age group. And they just sort of dump you in there and forget about you. That is not the sign of a good advisor. You need someone like our friend Zach at Bulwark Capital Management, who actively, day to day, monitors what's happening in the markets, thinks about how you should be allocated, how your money should be allocated. It is active risk management. It's a totally different philosophy on managing your wealth. And there's no better time to get your portfolios in order than right now, when the markets are crazy and when the world is crazy. So if you want to know more, just visit knowyourriskradio.com. Or you can call 866-779-RISK and you can get a free copy of Zach's Common Sense Investing Guide. So check that out, knowyourriskradio.com. Okay, let's get to some videos because Peter Ducey did a little story about how there are a whole bunch of terrorists coming over our open borders.
Yay!
So, yeah, all the people that are like, America first. Well, this would be a good start, is if we would take care of our borders. And that is obviously the fault of this completely incompetent administration. Here's Peter Ducey with the details.
Intel arm of CBP has a new bulletin out, and the headline is pretty alarming. It says in bold letters right at the top, foreign fighters of Israel-Hamas conflict may be encountered at southwest border. The Daily Caller got a copy of this material. It was distributed 3 days ago, and it's about Hamas, Hezbollah, or Islamic Jihad fighters exploiting the porous border to get into the U.S. Part of the concern is that terrorists can see a ton of traffic down there. The new number is 2.48 million encounters in a fiscal year, and among them at least 172 people from the terror watch list. That is 172 who actually came face to face with law enforcement and didn't get away.
Okay, so all those right-wing extremist weirdos were right. We're all right. Again, why is it so weird how we're always right about this stuff?
Yeah.
So all these all these terroristy people are coming in. Isn't it weird? Isn't it weird?
So weird. And then, those are just the people they need to counter, and they can, check off on a list. Who knows how many are just gotaways, right? There's a whole ton of them.
A whole hell
that
of
are
a
gotaways.
lot that are just like hiding. They're all hiding like Homer Simpson in the bushes. They're all just waiting. They're waiting until the perfect moment. Like, we're not going to see some stuff happen, some crap go down over the next couple months. Don't you guys think? Am I the only one? Or again, am I wearing my tinfoil hat? Which again, I'm gonna be like, I told you so. We all do that.
Well, and as you'll hear from John Ratcliffe, he's talking about the fact that this attack that happened on October 7th was planned for well over a year.
Oh my God.
And so you don't think that that's happening here
right
with
now.
The people that are crossing, that they have a plan? Of course they do. And so what's terrifying about it too is then when you listen to what he says Mayorkas testified to in a congressional hearing, then that's when you get real scared. Listen to this.
This operation has been planned by Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran for the better part of a year. they would have already sent their bad actors here. They would have likely taken advantage of an open border under the Biden administration. And as you talked about, Sean, remember, there's a 7,000% increase in suspects from the terror watch list apprehended in the Biden administration versus the Trump administration.
My God.
And they are coming from countries like Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen. And, you know, so to think that they're not already here, I think really doesn't make much sense. And the worst part of it, Sean, is 4 months ago, you heard Joe Biden's Homeland Security Secretary, Mayorkas, under testimony and questioning from Jim Jordan. He was asked, those terror watch suspects that were apprehended, have they been released into the country? And his answer under oath was, I don't know. We don't know where they are. It just really underscores the idiocy of how they have approached this problem.
That's really great. Yeah, that's
I
great.
don't know.
Jane said, yeah, Jane said they're after the power grid. You okay? You
Why do
okay,
gotta
Mock?
say that?
I know
Why
that's
do you do
Mock's
that?
biggest fear, Jane. That's her
I'm
absolute
so
biggest
paranoid
fear.
about that. You guys, I
Mhm.
could only last for maybe an hour and a half without
Right.
power.
She can't.
I mean,
deal.
I can't deal.
Yeah,
Like
she
when
can't.
power has gone off at my house, I go to hotels. I literally do that.
But see, the thing is, if the power grid goes down, the hotels won't have power, Mock.
I know.
I know.
I'm just talking about when it's only out at my house.
I know, she
That is the
can't-
lengths I will go to. So you
she
know that I'm very
can't.
sensitive to it.
Yeah, it's not going to be a good thing. So yeah, but listen, those mean tweets are really terrible. They're really bad, you guys. Couldn't deal with those. But everything is really craptastic now. It's bad. It's really bad. And they're like, thumb up the butt. We don't know. We don't know. We have no idea.
Are we supposed to hold on? Were we supposed to hold the terrorists once we apprehend them?
What?
Oh,
We didn't
we
know
thought we
that.
just wrote them down on a
Right,
list.
we
Yep,
didn't-
terrorist suspect
That's-
right here.
You're a terrorist? That's great. Come on through. We had no idea. It's these people are such idiots. Oh my God.
Everybody's talking about generators. Yes, my new house will have a generator. I don't have that
Yes.
here. I mean, we do have one, but it's not like a whole house generator. So
We have a whole house
we will.
generator. We do have a whole house generator. The thing is that you have to have, you have to have, what do you call it? The gas to run the generator, right?
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to run out of that. So you can't run it forever unless you keep getting that fuel to run it. So, there's certain level of, you kind of think, okay, eventually we're going to run out of all the things. Propane. Thank you, Kim. You're going to run out of propane. I mean, I don't know, unless you just have an endless supply of propane, which maybe we will, but yeah.
But I mean, the power grid goes down, and then the people who supply the propane, they're also down. You know what I mean? Like it affects literally everything. And so, yeah, that solar is the only way to go, really. And that's, you need a lot of solar to take care of a whole house power.
A whole lot. And that costs a lot of money that I don't have.
But rebates, Daisy, you can get a rebate.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Also, as if there wasn't enough to worry about, there is also the matter of the fact that our personal stockpile, the United States' personal stockpile of ammunition and weapons is dangerously low. Now, John Kirby doesn't want you to worry your pretty little head about that, but I kind of feel like you should worry about it. Here he is.
My question is the state of those stockpiles right now, the state of where U.S. weapons stockpiles stand, with two wars sending now two different types of shipments on a regular basis towards two U.S. allies. How big is the concern that the U.S. is dangerously low on what it should have for its own defense right now?
Well, of course it's a concern. That's why we asked for that extra supplemental funding from Congress.
Oh, my God.
Without getting into classified information, I can assure you and the American people that the United States military can continue to defend our national security interests all around the world.
Sure? You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure?
I mean, that's
about
that's a bold statement.
Especially after he said, yeah, it's a concern. I mean, the first thing he said was, of course it's a concern. Yeah, well, maybe he shouldn't have left all that crap in Afghanistan. That would have been the first thing you shouldn't have done. And then the second thing they shouldn't have been doing over the past couple of years is, the Lindsey Grahams and the Mitch McConnells who are on our side of the aisle, they shouldn't have been sending all of our stuff to Ukraine. I mean, we're just like, here you go, Ukraine, take all our crap. Go ahead, take all our ammo, take all of our weapons, take all of our stuff, take all of our money.
We don't need it.
Why have we been doing that? Why? It's absolutely ridiculous because now we're in a position of weakness. We don't have stuff.
And the same thing with the strategic petroleum reserves too. Like we are weakened and down on everything that we need. Everything.
Yeah. And so what? When we need it, is Ukraine going to give that back to us?
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. And meanwhile, the person responsible for it all is such a bumbling idiot that he doesn't even understand that he is about to be introduced by someone. Look at this ridiculous clip.
God, look at him. He can't even walk.
I'm not introduced to me. Mark is.
Oh my God.
I forgot Mark. I went straight to the podium. I apologize. No problem. Good afternoon.
What an idiot. I swear. So that's idiotic to begin with. But why is he talking about Bidenomics right now?
Yeah.
And that's
read
what that
the room,
was.
dude.
Seriously, yeah, totally read the room. And like, does anybody even care about the whole Bidenomics thing right now? Because I don't care. They shouldn't be patting themselves on the back for a great economy because, first of all, that's a lie. And nobody cares about that right now. Nobody cares about you patting yourself on the back, telling us that oh my God, we've created so many jobs. Really? That's what you're going to get on the stage and talk
ignore
about?
what you're feeling and seeing and hearing and knowing. Just ignore all that.
Right.
We're telling you Bidenomics is great.
We're going to talk about Bidenomics, and I'm going to go back to the beach and ignore the fact that we have hostages that are with Hamas right now. It's a disaster in his White House. Oh my gosh.
It is. BF, thank you very, very much for that super sticker. Appreciate that. We have not shown a lot of videos, although there are gajillions of videos from across campuses across the country, just streets across the country of idiots ripping down the pictures of kidnapped hostages, babies and children, hostages that have been kidnapped by Hamas. People are putting up pictures to bring awareness to their plight because it's a serious issue. And there are idiots out there who are ripping down these posters, and I cannot fathom what possible reason that they have. They say, I guess, that it's because what about the Palestinians? What does that have to do with the kidnapped victims of these hostage situations? What does that have to do with the victims of the terrorists? I have no idea, but it's this weird moral equivalency that makes no sense. One of those people was caught on video. I don't know what college this is, but there was a back and forth that was truly incredible. Check this out.
Are you defending terrorism, really? You guys really are defending terrorism?
And she's Jewish, right?
Cowards. Should be ashamed of yourself. Should be ashamed of yourself. These people are killing innocent civilians. They killed friends of ours, families. People here are affected directly, and you guys are denying it, taking them out, spreading hate, encouraging anti-Semitism.
Dude, you literally know I'm Jewish. Like, I've been...
That's not true. That makes it much better.
No, but I'm saying, like, you have no right to tell people that their beliefs are wrong or that
it's not a belief.
No,
condemning fucking Hamas is not a belief. You don't have to believe
this?
to think that raping someone is wrong. You don't have to believe that someone getting kidnapped, that babies getting beheaded, that 85-year-old grandmothers getting kidnapped. It's wrong. That's not a belief. That's not an opinion. And if it is, of course, I don't respect it.
Why are you filming?
Because...
What's your point?
What? To show where all of the hate is coming from in this campus. Most Jewish students don't feel safe because a lot of other students are doing it, and the worst part is that there's Jewish students like you, unfortunately, who like encourage them to continue doing this, and they get validated by it.
You don't know what... Look, you are reading into propaganda.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Tell me.
You're supporting occupation.
Oh my God.
An illegal
Did you
occupation
read
that's
the
been
poster?
happening for 75
It's about
years.
Hamas and the atrocities and all of the war crimes they're committing.
Wow.
It's not about anything else.
It's outrageous.
You're not condemning terrorists? That shit is wrong. You should be ashamed of yourself.
She is so misguided. I mean, it's out of control. I mean, she's so far gone when it comes to it. Like, she has no idea what she's talking about. Either that or she hates her Jewish parents so much.
It's just amazing, that level of masochism. My God.
It's crazy. These kids are brainwashed.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just
outrageous.
It's wild. I know everybody's like, oh no, it's Jessica Tarlov. And I normally feel the same, but you guys, she is right. And I need to give her credit where it's due.
I have a question real quick before you play this. Is Jessica Tarlov Jewish?
I think so. I'm not sure actually.
Does anybody know? Because I honestly don't know the answer to that question. Anyways, okay. I don't know.
Okay. But she went to Columbia, and she's talking about, or she's referring to this 10-minute clip that went viral the other day on all social platforms of a Columbia professor speaking out about to other parents that send their kids to Columbia, telling them, don't send your kids here because they're not protecting Jewish kids here. And I'm saying that as a professor here at Columbia. And so Jessica was talking about that as an alum of Columbia herself, and her points are 100% right.
I would encourage everyone to watch. It's a 10-minute video, so it's a bit long, but even just a few minutes of it. There's a business professor at Columbia, Israeli, who was speaking out the other night, talking about how now the university can't protect Jewish students, and that parents need to be aware of this, that this has become a completely unsafe environment to be in. Wow. And you see that this could have a real ripple effect on people, that when you think about where you're going to send your kids, are you going to be looking at one of these universities that has a dean that can't find the guts or even talk to the fundraising director? Look at all of the donations that are being pulled from these universities that said, if you can't find it within yourself to say that my people have a right to exist, you don't get a new library. And I'm ashamed to have gone there. And that is not going to stop anytime soon.
It's almost as dangerous as being a conservative on college campus. It's tough. Up next.
I kind of love that comment. That was great. He got that jab in at the end. That was really good. Yes, people are saying that, yes, she is Jewish. She said that a couple days ago. Okay, that makes complete sense now because she's been championing.
Well, I mean, some people are Jewish and they're crazy.
Right.
And
I
like
totally
that
agree.
chick that we just showed. So props have to go to Jessica Tarlov, as much as I find myself in shock that I'm saying that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the KJP is back. And so she and John Kirby held a presser yesterday, and they were asked specifically about this issue, the fact that there are so many students acting like insane, rabid lunatics on these college campuses. And Ron DeSantis, among others, have said, if you are a foreign national here on a student visa and you are participating in these anti-Semitic protests, you should have your visa pulled. I could not agree with him anymore on that point. And so they were asking John Kirby his thoughts about that, and I am blown away by his response.
And there's been an uptick on the right among some Republicans who have called for students or foreign nationals who are demonstrating in some of these pro-Palestine demonstrations or allegedly pro-Hamas demonstrations to have their student visas pulled or to face deportation. What is the administration's response to those kinds of remarks, that kind of rhetoric?
I would just tell you, you don't have to agree with every sentiment that's expressed in a free country like this.
Oh my God.
To stand by the idea, the First Amendment, and the idea of peaceful protest. I'll leave it at that.
I'm sorry; these are foreign nationals. Okay,
right.
So you don't get the same protections of First Amendment. You don't get to do that in our house. Okay. You don't. And I can't even believe that they're trying to hide behind a First Amendment thing when it comes to student visas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. They're doing it. Yep. They're totally doing it.
No. Nope. And KJP just as useless, although more so because she also can't speak coherently. Here she is with the same question being asked.
I know John Kirby addressed the protests on college campuses, and I appreciate that the president respects First Amendment rights to protest, but does the president view anti-Israel protests and sentiment on college campuses as anti-Semitism?
So look, I'm not going to get into what's happening across the country
at
different universities. I'm not going to get into the specifics. As the Admiral said, the First Amendment right? That's what something in peaceful protest is really part of our democracy, being able for folks to be able to express their feelings. I'm not going to get into any specifics on that. The president has been very clear in wanting to make sure that Jewish Americans, wanting to make sure that Arab Americans, Muslims are protected here.
You know what? It's almost as if she's saying there are fine people on both sides.
It does kind of sound like she's saying that. But
it's almost as if she's saying that.
She actually goes even further than that in this amazing, ridiculous answer. She's asked specifically about whether or not the White House is concerned about the rise of anti-Semitism. Her response is to talk about the rise of Islamophobia, which is so tone deaf.
Oh my
God. It is excruciating. Check this out.
Level of concern right now about the potential rise of anti-Semitism in light of everything that's going on in Israel?
So a couple of things. We have not seen any credible threats. I know there's been always questions about credible threats, and so just want to make sure that that's out there. But look, Muslim and those perceived to be Muslim have endured a disproportionate number of hate-fueled attacks. And certainly President Biden understands that many of our Muslim, Arab Americans and Palestinian American loved ones and neighbors are worried about the hate being directed at their communities, and that is something you heard the president speak to in his address just last Thursday. And so one of the things that the president has done is directed his team, Homeland Security team, to prioritize prevention and disruption of any emerging threats that could harm the Jewish, the Muslim, Arab Americans, or any other communities. And that is something that the president has sought to do and since day one. As you know, the president ran on bringing protecting communities, obviously, but bringing people together, protecting the soul of the nation, and so that is something that the president takes very, very seriously.
That was a written statement. That was a statement that was written out beforehand, and she just read that crap. First, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. There's. That's outrageous. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Are they, the Islamic community is facing that? Like, oh my God, the rise of anti-Semitism, like we have seen it rampant. It's rampant across the country.
There was a synagogue leader that just got stabbed. Sorry, I did not mean for thumbs up on that, but there was a synagogue leader that just got stabbed to death outside of her home. So for her to be like, there's no evidence. We just aren't seeing this rise in anti-Semitism. But let me tell you about those Muslims.
Yeah, it's like we see you, White House. We see you. We know where you stand. And Joe is at the beach, while there are hostages still in the hands of Hamas. We see you.
Gosh, it's just outrageous. Quick reminder that if you are spending your money on a cell phone bill, and you likely are, and you're doing that every single month, and chances are your money is going to organizations and causes that you don't necessarily believe in. And the great thing is that you can have dependable nationwide coverage with all three major networks by switching to Patriot Mobile, and know that your dollars are going to causes that you actually believe in. Causes like, and I'll just list them because they do a great job of doing that: free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, Second Amendment, the military, vets, first responders, all of these things that conservatives care deeply about. Every time you send in your monthly cell phone bill to Patriot Mobile, you know a portion of those monies are going to those causes that you support. So there's no risk to switching. Switching is a piece of cake. You can get free activation when you use code CHICKS at patriotmobile.com/chicks, or you can call and make the switch by calling 972-PATRIOT. Right now, today, you could use that same offer code CHICKS. You're going to get free activation. You can keep your phone. You can keep your phone number. You can upgrade your phone. Whatever you want to do, they make it so easy. Their customer service is amazing. Check them out at patriotmobile.com/chicks. Democrats are not in agreement with one another in Congress about their attitudes towards the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. There are lots of Democrats, to their credit, who are very pro-Israel and who are standing firmly behind Israel. And then there's the squad, right? And people as insane as the squad. So Dana Bash had a Democrat representative, Richie Torres, on to talk about this split in the progressive movement. And at first, he denies completely that there is one. And then completely changes his tune, all in the matter of just a couple of minutes. Check this out.
Divide among you and people who believe what you believe and other progressives has been really fascinating to watch and kind of bewildering to a lot of people who maybe are where you are on this, maybe on both sides of it. Because even before the October 7th attack, a lot of Jews who describe themselves as liberal, who believe in social justice, were shunned by their fellow liberals for saying that they believed in Israel as a Jewish state. And that is a divide that is exploding. In the New York Times, they actually posted something that the Black Lives Matter in Los Angeles said after the October 7th attack. They said, quote, when a people have been subject to decades of apartheid and unimaginable violence, their resistance must not be condemned, but understood as a desperate act of self-defense. That, again, was Black Lives Matter Los Angeles. What is your take on this?
Well, I reject the notion that there's a divide. With a few exceptions, just about every Democrat has unequivocally voiced support for Israel and condemned the terrorism of Hamas and stood by Israel's right to defend itself.
But there is a divide among progressives.
Not in Congress. I think the overwhelming majority of Congress stands for Israel's right to defend itself. But, I view this as a matter of human decency. Imagine a mother whose baby has been murdered in cold blood. I cannot imagine anything more callous and cruel than telling that mother, you are to blame. You had this coming. That to me is indecent. This is not about politics. This is not about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This is about human decency. It is indecent to blame the victims of terrorism rather than the terrorists themselves. It is indecent to glorify terrorism as resistance. It is indecent to lionize the paragliders who gunned down 260 Israelis at a music festival. And so ultimately for me, this is a matter of moral common sense and moral decency.
Yeah. I mean, he's right.
He is right, but he's wrong when he says that basically all the Democrats agree about that.
And then that's where he does this total turnaround in this next clip. And I'm like, make up your mind, dude. Here he is.
But we have to keep in mind the causes of the war. Israel did not start the war. The war was imposed upon Israel by the barbaric terrorism of Hamas, which butchered 1,400 Israelis, including babies. My colleague, Representative Omar, has voted against Iron Dome, which is a missile defense system that protects Israeli civilians from relentless rocket fire. Were it not for Iron Dome interceptions, there would be far more dead Israelis, far more by orders of magnitude. And so the policy positions that she has taken would have led to even more dead Israelis and more dead Palestinians.
Exactly. And
That's
it's
right.
not just her, it's AOC. Do you remember AOC crying when that bill got passed?
Yep. I do remember that. Mm-hmm. And they'd be delighted if more Israelis died. I mean,
I guess so.
Thing. Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, Ilhan would be delighted about it. Rashida would be delighted about it. They'd all just be delighted.
Obama put out a piece on, I think, Medium yesterday, being
I was just waiting to see what he thought about all this. What did he say?
Right. Well, so the first paragraph was like all the right stuff, right? Like Israel, they've been brutally attacked. It's inexcusable. The atrocities are horrible. They have every right to defend themselves. And then the second paragraph, but... And then I'm just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So, and the but is always, Israel has a responsibility to make sure that they try to minimize any potential civilian casualties as they respond to these atrocities. And there is no one who knows that better than freaking Israel. And so I get so sick and tired of people trying to be like, well, but they need to do better about, not hitting the wrong people. They do the best they can, considering that Hamas uses friggin' children's hospitals for their headquarters. Okay. So they do the best they can. And they do have precision technology to try to make sure that as few civilians are impacted as possible. The people to blame for civilian casualties is Hamas, and they never get blamed. It's always Israel. And freaking AOC is trying to say, well, they say that they have these precision military missiles or whatever, but they're just indiscriminately bombing Palestine. It's unbelievable. Listen to this.
Here in Congress, every single year we pass a defense budget, and every single year we hear about the precision, the sophistication, the technological capacities to meet targets with such precise strikes. And yet what we are seeing unfold in Gaza is an indiscriminate bombing campaign. We are seeing the dropping of white phosphorus, an indiscriminate weapon. We are seeing civilian centers being bombed. We are seeing churches and terrorism.
Congresswoman, you would accept that a ceasefire, though, would leave Hamas in place. You would accept that's a cost of saving civilian lives in Gaza.
I think in the immediate sense, we have to have a pause.
Oh, my God. So what she's saying is, yeah, go ahead and leave Hamas in place. Go ahead.
Right.
Like Hamas needs to exist.
And they're still firing rockets. Let's not forget, Hamas continually is firing rockets at Israel still. And she won't acknowledge that.
Right. It's the mindset now is so different than it was, back in like World War II when we were fighting the Nazis.
Yeah.
Because, back when we were fighting the Nazis, it wasn't, oh my God, are we going to like we need to think about every single person that's collateral damage when we're fighting the Nazis. We didn't do that. We just fought the Nazis, you guys. We wanted to get rid of the Nazis, right? Everybody knew that was the right thing to do. We wanted to kill Hitler. That's what we wanted to do. It's just, we didn't have these types of conversations. And maybe it's because of social media. I don't know. Perhaps that's part of it, is that everything is televised and everything is 24/7 news cycle, and everything is just in our faces. And because our educational system sucks so bad now, kids are just completely brainwashed. There's so many different facets to it, but man, it is just different now. I mean, it's just, everything is night and day. Our America is so different now, and our leaders are so different now, and it terrifies me.
It should. There's a former prime minister of Israel who spoke out with a great reminder about why this war is even happening. And this is every time I see this kind of stuff, I immediately tag the squad. I'm always just like, watch this, you ignorant hose beasts. Watch this, because you've clearly forgotten how this all began. But here's a former prime minister to explain.
We are in the 13th day of this war, which was forced upon us, which we didn't want, which we have no choice but to win. Not because we seek revenge, but because we can't live like this. Last week I went to visit the people who were evacuated from Kfar Aza. At the entrance I met an elderly lady that I know, and she said to me, they killed my son, but at least I have cancer and I will die soon enough. I will not have to feel what I feel anymore. I met a 13-year-old girl who saw the murder of her best friend. I met a father whose wife and 2 children were abducted, sits alone in an empty apartment. I met people with hollow eyes who described to me what burned babies look like. I want to remind you, the horrors of October the 7th has nothing to do with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The terrorists are not part of the struggle for a Palestinian state. Hamas don't care about that. Just like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they don't want any agreement with anyone. They want to kill Jews because they are Jews, and Christians because they are Christians, and moderate Muslims because they are moderate.
I don't know how to say it any better.
Right. He's 150% correct.
There is some chick named Lori in here saying, give me a break. He is making this up. You psycho. I'm blocking her because that's just, wow. I can't even, I don't want to even allow any of that kind of nonsense on this platform. That is so vile.
I mean, you can listen, she can believe that all she wants. So,
she can, but just not on our show.
Yeah, you can believe that as much as you want to believe it. But when it starts happening here in this country, I can't help you.
And that's what it'll take for her to actually understand.
Right. It totally
How do
will.
you not see what's happening on the streets and on the campuses here?
That's fine. You'll be the one that's not prepared. And I can't help you. Don't come to my house.
Leah, thank you. Leah says you can express your feelings in peaceful protests unless you're a conservative on the Capitol.
It's right
there. Alexandra, thank you. The president doesn't even know he's alive still. Keep your head on a swivel online and offline, and carry if you're able to, please. I care about all of you. Thank you. And Leah, again, what the hell is white phosphorus? This is a total lie. Rockets shot at Nashal Oz 20 minutes ago. Yeah, that's the thing. They're still firing rockets, and nobody is acknowledging that. They're all like, ceasefire, ceasefire. Well, you freaking first release the hostages and stop firing rockets.
Yeah.
What? I mean, and AOC's like, Israel's so mean. Oh my God.
And that's the thing. They're the ones with the hostages.
Right.
It's like, what planet am I living on? They act as if they're innocent. They're the ones who came in, swooped in, brutally murdered a bunch of people in the most atrocious ways, took hostages. We're talking about children and elderly people, took hostages. They still have them. And the squad's like, we should call a ceasefire. How about you suck a bowl? I cannot with these women. I mean, it's like, and there are people listening to them thinking that this is a normal thing. What planet am I living on?
I know.
What planet?
Well, and the other point that doesn't get made enough, and thankfully we have Jonathan Conricus to make it quite well, is that Hamas everybody's concerned about the humanitarian supplies getting in, and then there's the concern, well, is Hamas going to get their grubby little paws on those supplies? And yes, of course they will. But the other concern is that Hamas already has huge stockpiles of fuel, of food, of water. Right. If they cared at all about their own civilians, they could use it for them, but they don't. God. And that's the point.
If they cared about their own civilians, they would have already had a place that looked like an actual civilization.
Right. But they never get the blame, ever. Right. It's always Israel, which makes no sense. Here's Conricus with more on that.
Hamas has fuel. Hamas has quite a lot of fuel, about 1,000 liters, if not more than that. And they can decide where to use that fuel. And I find it strikingly absent from the discussion, from many discussions, what is Hamas doing with the resources that it has. It's only about Israel and Egypt and UN and international organizations. What about Hamas? Why aren't the questions posed to Hamas? Why don't you use some of the fuel that you have stockpiled and hoarded in advance of this situation and use it for the civilians?
So what you're saying is that what you're saying, if I understand what you're saying, Lieutenant Colonel, you're saying Hamas has fuel, but they're not making it available to the hospitals. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And they are using these poor civilians, which are not our enemy and not our target. They're using them cynically just in order to milk every drop of international pity and legitimacy for their horrific activities. And they're using their own civilians to do it. Hamas has fuel, and Hamas should use the fuel not to fight against Israel, but really to care about the civilians that they are responsible for.
Bingo.
Important point indeed. Let's get back to this other very sensitive issue. As you know,
anyway, that's exactly right. But they never, ever, ever, they never recognize that. They're always like, Israel is so mean to cut off all of these civilians. They're so mean. They're not the government there.
Right. They're colonizers. What? Okay. Whatever. I mean, Hamas has they've had all the money. That's why those guys are sitting in Qatar, like living large. It's just so stupid. I cannot believe people cannot see this. It's just outrageous.
Switching gears a little bit, there was a tweet by J.D. Vance who takes issue with the fact that Biden is suggesting a giant one-stop shopping sort of bill to cover funding for the Ukraine war and Israel and our own border, like all in one giant bill. And so J.D. Vance had tweeted, no, let's split those out. Those need to be separate bills. John Fetterman, Congressman, you may remember John Fetterman
from
the Senate,
wearing a Carhartt sweatshirt every day.
Right.
Yeah.
senator, he had thoughts about that tweet, and here is what he said.
Deep thoughts
by Senator John Fetterman. For those of you listening
so
and not
deep.
watching, he simply retweeted it and said, F that.
Well, I mean, we've come a long way,
right?
In our leadership, haven't we? Yeah. Remember the good old days when senators didn't. Remember when senators didn't do that? And if they did it behind closed doors, so we couldn't see it or read it. Remember?
Maybe he heard the Sheila Jackson Lee audio from yesterday and was like,
well, I mean, I guess it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. We're just going to say all the things now. Wow. I miss the days of decorum.
Right?
I mean, I know our show has none. I get it.
But we're not in the Congress.
We're not in Congress. Right. Exactly. And I miss that. I miss a little bit of formality, and like when they actually wore things and they said the things, and they were at least somewhat, I don't know, they had decorum. They did the things, and we at least respected them, and that we respected the
office.
Yeah, we could look at them and be like, okay, well, we probably think they're idiots, but they're not treating the office with, such indignity. And that's I hate where we are now, because it's like I respect none of these people. And I don't know if it's because of, I used to think it was because of my age, but now I really think it's because they have no respect for what they're doing.
It's true.
I hate it.
Yesterday, Lindsey Graham had the weirdest meltdown ever. He was on the stage with his colleagues, and they were, I don't even know what the setting was, but there was a guy, an Israeli American citizen, who stood up to thank everybody on the stage for standing behind Israel. He talked a lot about how much he appreciated the support. But then wanted to direct a question to the Democrats who were on the stage so that he could say, what is your response to Rashida Tlaib still having that tweet up that is a lie about the hospital explosion? Can a Democrat please comment on that? And inexplicably, Lindsey Graham lost his shit. I don't know where this came from or why. It has to be seen to be believed. And I can't explain it. It just happened. If somebody has fuller context, please let me know, because this was like, I don't know where it came from. This is from Newsmax.
And I'd like to ask any Democrat senator here that would like to speak to Rashida Tlaib. She still has a tweet up condemning Israel for a hospital attack. And
stop.
It's not a...
No.
It's a fair question, Senator Graham.
We are here together, not to talk about the problems at home, which are many.
It's a fair question,
I've got my
Senator.
own view of what to say. You're not going to screw this up.
I'm not trying to screw it up.
Get this guy out of here. Now,
I
let me
live
tell
here.
you.
I'm an Israeli. I want an answer to the question, please.
I'm an American.
And I am too.
And I believe in free speech. I don't believe what the squad has to say
Thank
at
you.
all. But I came here with Democrats and Republicans to let everybody in the world know, don't judge every Democrat by the squad, and don't judge every Republican by some of the things you hear. Where the
What
House
is he talking about?
Yeah. Where the House, they'll get their act together, but we need to do our job. We need to do our job in the Senate. We need to pass a bill that will help Israel, help Ukraine. That's at least what I think. I think the House will show up. And I'm sorry, my friend, I probably shouldn't have said it, but my nerves are raw right now.
He needs to calm down.
I believe in free speech, but get him out of here. What? What? What is? He has lost his marbles. I don't
And that
understand.
guy wasn't, he wasn't rude. He like legit wanted
He had a question.
Yeah, it
Yeah, he had
was
a
so
question.
weird.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't rude at all. He has lost his mind. Like ever
Right?
since, yeah. I feel like he's been going downhill ever since he lost his boyfriend. You know?
Wait a minute. Who is his boyfriend?
Well, his pseudo, like his crush man. Remember his crush
No.
man? No, McCain. He really loved McCain.
Oh,
Ever since he lost
okay,
McCain.
gotcha.
He really loved him. That was like a
They were
blow for
tight.
him. They were super tight. And ever since he died, I think he's been on a downhill slope. Don't you think?
Well, that was just a lash out that was uncalled for and so bizarre. And
Yeah.
wow, that was crazy.
And he just wants more money for Ukraine. That's what that guy wants. He's just like thirsty for more American taxpayer money to give to Ukraine. Ukraine. Yeah. That's all Lindsey Graham wants. So it's like listen, I'm irritated about that. I'm mad at him. I'm mad that he has taken so much money from us and so many weapons from us, and he has just given all of that stuff to Ukraine. I have a chip on my shoulder about that. I'm a little pissy. And I'm allowed to be a little pissy about that because it's my money and he works for me.
You know who else is concerned about that? John Kirby.
Yeah.
He's concerned about it.
Yeah. Is he concerned? Yeah. That's great.
He's concerned about it. Unbelievably, the New York Times released sort of an apology-esque statement. I wouldn't call it an apology because at no time in there did it say we are deeply sorry.
Right. So it's
didn't say that.
Not an apology.
So we will show their statement in its entirety. And for those of you listening and not watching, here is the editor's note from the New York Times on the Gaza hospital coverage. They said on October 17th, the New York Times published news of an explosion at a hospital in Gaza City, leading its coverage with claims by Hamas government officials that an Israeli airstrike was the cause and that hundreds of people were dead or injured. This report included a large headline at the top of the Times' website. Israel subsequently denied being at fault and blamed an errant rocket launch by the Palestinian faction group Islamic Jihad, which has in turn denied responsibility. American and other international officials have said their evidence indicates that the rocket came from Palestinian fighter positions. The Times' initial accounts attributed the claim of Israeli responsibility to Palestinian officials and noted the Israeli military said it was investigating the blast. However, the early versions of the coverage and the prominence it received in the headline, news alert, and social media channels relied too heavily on claims by Hamas and did not make clear that those claims could not immediately be verified. The report left readers with an incorrect impression about what was known and was. Given the sensitive nature of the news during a widening conflict and the prominent promotion it received, Times editors should have taken more care with the initial presentation and been more explicit about what information could be verified. Newsroom leaders continue to examine procedures around the biggest breaking news events, including for the use of the largest headlines in the digital report, to determine what additional safeguards may be warranted.
Please tell me
that is it. That's it.
Yeah, so they basically put it off on us. You guys just they put it off on the readers.
Yeah, they didn't understand.
It's like you didn't quite understand all the nuances involved. It was you. It's you. Hi, you're the problem. It's you. No, it's actually you, New York Times. It's you. They should have actually taken full responsibility and said, listen, we jumped the gun on this. We did it. We're the ones who did it, just like all the other outlets did it. I mean, they're the ones who did shoddy reporting. We suck at our jobs. They should have said, we suck at our jobs. We're liberal hacks. Sorry. We're really sorry. We'll do better next time. We'll try. We'll at least try to do a little bit better. I wish that's what they said. It should have just been like 3 sentences. That's it. Instead of all this bull crap.
This is all nonsense. It should have literally said, we should not have taken the word of a terrorist group on its face, and we should have done better. And we deeply regret how we handled this entire hospital explosion. The end. That's how you apologize.
How did that woman say it yesterday? Where the what did she say? Were the scribers of terrorism, or
oh yeah.
How did she say it? Were the something of terrorism, and it was brilliant. I know, right? What was
that word? What was that word? Do you guys remember?
It's this. We're the something of terrorism. It was like the scribers. I know. You're doing the thing, and I can't remember what it was.
Sometimes if you do this, it gets people to remember.
We're the what did she say? And it
wasn't like transcription. Stenographers.
Thank you. Oh,
thank you, Ingrid, Callie, and
Ingrid, Jeannie, thank you. The stenographers of terrorism. That's exactly what they are. Our mainstream media. That's what they are. Beautiful,
and
beautiful phrase.
Even though this was a weak ass non-apology, Jonathan Conricus gave them, or tried to give them, some credit for having some kind of statement about this. And he was on with Erin Burnett, I think of CNN. I think she's a CNNer. And she could not, like, she gets visibly uncomfortable with the fact that she has to acknowledge the New York Times screwed up. So this is pretty amazing to watch, you guys. Her reaction to him is just something else. Check this out.
And I can only confirm that today I read something else in the New York Times that I found very interesting, something that I haven't seen in a long, long time, and that is close to an apology for their horrible and unprofessional coverage of the hospital incident.
They did issue an apology for that. Thank you very much, Colonel. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Erin.
She's like, I'm gonna just like,
we're gonna move on now.
We're part of the problem, so we're just gonna ignore that you even said that. Because we're CNN and we suck too. Oh my God. Okay. I totally love that guy too. That guy is a complete badass and
He's
love
awesome.
him. I love him so much. I think we just got a super sticker and we probably should mention
We
it
did.
now.
So Michelle Archer, thank you. He's got so much class. Michelle Archer says he needs to get laid. I think she was talking about Lindsey Graham.
I
Not
agree.
Jonathan Conricus.
I don't know by who though. It's up in the air. It's up in the air. Somebody's gonna have to tell me by who. I don't know. I don't know. Would it be a guy? Would it be a girl? I don't know, you guys.
We haven't gotten into what's going on with the speaker race because I don't know that anything is really moving on the speaker race. We've still got a whole big bunch of people trying to be speaker and absolutely no movement on it. I think the government's set to shut down. I don't even know when at this point.
Coda's hat. I'm throwing his hat in the ring. Coda's up for speaker, you guys.
Cookies and cream for speaker.
Mm-hmm. He's up.
So Ben Shapiro had a fantastic takedown without naming names, except for Trump. He does name Trump. I think he is specifically referring to to Matt Gaetz and to anybody who is a rabble rouser claiming to be stirring up all this trouble in the name of being anti-establishment. And I thought this was very, very well said.
Term establishment used to have a meaning. It used to mean a person with power who is too conciliatory to left-wing positions. But during Donald Trump's presidency, when he was, the actual president, we learned that power had nothing to do with it. Donald Trump, the most powerful person on the planet, wasn't the establishment. During Trump's presidency, we learned that friendliness to left-wing positions didn't make you establishment either. After all, it was Donald Trump who declared that entitlement programs, the single biggest drivers of America's debt, were off the table for discussion. So, what makes someone establishment? Today, the answer, insufficient posturing. That's it. That's like the whole thing. Posturing. See, the only way to avoid being labeled establishment these days is to get nothing done, but to yell really, really, really loudly, particularly about the establishment. To be anti-establishment is to complain about losing elections while doing nothing to win them. It's to shout that the game is rigged while refusing to even engage in the game at all. Being anti-establishment has turned into just whining. It's about showing what you're against by posturing and then telling your audience that if you posture theatrically enough, wave your hands around a lot, your opposition will just surrender. Passing legislation? Nah. Recognizing reality? Doing any of that is surrender to the opposition. Hell, you can even vote with Democrats to take down a Republican Speaker of the House with no backup plan, and you will be considered anti-establishment, all because you yell about the establishment.
I mean,
he does have a point,
right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, because we're at a complete standstill, and it's bad because there was no plan. There was absolutely no plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's like yelling is not anti-establishment. Doing the
Right.
things is anti-establishment. He has a major point there, you guys.
Michelle Boyd, thank you. Michelle says, just because you ladies are awesome, and even through this poop show that we're living, both of you put a smile on my face and help me face the day. God bless. Thank you, Michelle.
Very sweet. Thank you, Michelle.
Man, sometimes it feels like it's just nothing but bad news.
I know.
But,
I have a whack that we can laugh at, you guys. I did that on purpose with purpose today. I did that.
Do you want to?
Is it? Are we already
it's
ready?
time.
Is
Yeah,
it time?
it's time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, this chick is whack, you guys. We can make fun of her. I don't even understand what's going on here, but I saw it and I was like, ha ha. And so let's just play that bean footage. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Here we go.
I'm tired. 7 a.m. at the physical therapy office, misgendered,
by someone who I've told my pronouns to. And I said, just to let you know, my pronouns are they, them. And they went, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. And then I had to explain too many times to my physical therapist that I didn't want to do an exercise where I had to crunch my face into my boobs because that gives me gender dysphoria.
Oh my God. Okay.
So
was there something on her nose? Was she wearing like breathe right strip to help her breathe?
I think she had glasses that had 3 nose frames. That's what I thought
you
that
can
was.
get those. I didn't even know that was a thing. Should I look into
want
that?
No,
that would be hot, you guys. I mean, that's a good look.
I would say don't look into that at all.
No.
I just don't think
As
you
your
should.
best friend, I implore you not to get those glasses. I mean, why would why would you get glasses to make you look worse than they already look? Why would you do that? Why? I mean, they're already dorky enough. Okay, anyways, but she doesn't want to do exercises that make her look at her. I'm sorry, I have to bring my boobs up because it's hard for me to even see them because I'm on aging. But she doesn't even want to look at her boobs because it gives her gender dysphoria.
She doesn't want to do crunches because then they smoosh up.
Oh, because they smoosh up because they're
right.
Because that never happens to me when I do crunches. I mean, I hardly do crunches anyway, but when I do crunches, it's like I don't necessarily like.
It's not an issue.
It's not an issue for me, but for her, it's apparently an issue. As her boobs come up, and that.
Can you imagine being the physical therapist and having somebody say, I can't do my prescribed exercise because of gender dysphoria?
Right. And then
just go away. Like nobody is requiring you to get physical therapy. You know what?
Physical therapist is like, you know what? I can't help you. You're just your body just we're done here. It's done. We're done. Yeah. She is what a lunatic. I mean, there's so many things going on in the world. I feel like it's both the gender dysphoria crowd and the climate weirdos. I feel like we need to push them to the bottom of the list at this point.
For real.
It's like we've got people, we've got hostages. You know what I mean? There are hostages being held by Hamas. You people just need to step down and like to the side. I don't have any time for you right now. Like I don't have any time to deal with worrying about the weather being like some sort of a threat to me. And then all of your gender weirdness, go away. It's like, and your 15 personalities and your pronouns. I don't care about all of your mental illness. Go away. Deal with that on your own. That reminds me,
because you said climate. I posted on Instagram the funniest meme. Can you see this? Hang on. Can you see that?
Doctor, I'm depressed because of the weather in 30 years. Have you tried super gluing yourself to the streets? Yes. Yes, exactly.
I love that so much.
It's so fantastic. That's just great.
I love that.
True. I mean, they should. She should try that.
It is time for some My Pillow talks. You guys, do not forget that in addition to saving 50% off the My Pillow 2.0, the My Pillow 2.0 that has that temperature regulating technology, you can also stock up. These are really dirty. It's not like I'm almost embarrassed to show them.
You have black ones too.
I have black ones, and then I have the full moccasin.
I have
version
the gray.
too.
I have the gray moccasins, and I have the tan ones. They're so fantastic, you guys.
I mean, for winter, when your feet, when you need nice and toasty feet, these are the greatest things ever.
A great
and
gift.
when you use code CHICKS at mypillow.com/chicks, don't forget you can get all the good discounts, and those make excellent gifts.
Great gifts. Great gifts, you guys.
I'm just saying, don't think about that when you're shopping for Christmas for sure.
Right.
Tony Z, thank you very much for that super sticker.
Tony.
All right, let's get to some fun stuff. This was the funniest dog photo bomb ever. I feel like this is something Maisie would totally do to me. Uh-oh. Here we go.
My shining moment. You know, it's interesting what kinds of things bring my shining moment.
Scooting that butt right across the day. Oh my God, so
Isn't
great.
that the greatest?
That is really great.
The Kardashian family impersonator is back with a new episode where things have been said, you guys.
Okay, here we go.
Things have been said.
Okay.
So, a lot was said the other day.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's something to be said for that.
There's something to be said for sure.
So recently, a lot was said, and there's something to be said for that. Do you have anything to say about what was said?
There's a lot to be said about what was said.
Say what you want about what was said, but I'm just saying there's a lot to be said about what was said.
Look, I don't know what you want me to say about what was said. What was said was said.
What did you just say? Say what now?
So say what you want. But what was said was said.
When all is said and done, she said what she said. You're saying things, but you're not even saying anything, and there's something to be said for that. So suffice it to say, what needs to be said should be said, and there's a lot to be said about that. Listen, I'll say this, and this is all I'm going to say.
Show.
It's like we're playing
That's
all
the
of this
show.
he said, she said. I'm waiting for the you said, you said.
I'll say this.
She started laughing.
I'm sorry for what I said.
Thank you for saying that.
That's the entire show, I swear.
The whole show is that.
Guy cannot stand them. And I love the way he does. He's like, it's so great.
I just love them so much.
Oh my God.
I do have a PSA. This is a terrifying story that happened to this woman who was at, I think, a Walmart. And it's just one of those things where you, again, head on a swivel, right? Like it's more important
Always.
now than ever before. This gal had a very frightening experience and ended up saving another gal in the process of having like a complete terrifying incident happen to her. She had her head on a swivel in the best way. This is horrifying though, and it can happen to anybody. So please be on guard, listen to this, and just share it with everybody.
Being a woman in this world is so fucking terrifying sometimes. I just left Walmart, okay? And the entire time I was in there, I felt like I was being followed. There were two men watching everything I was doing, every aisle I would go in, like they were somehow there. I went to the bathroom. They were the first people I saw when I came out. And I'm a really paranoid person. So I thought I was just being paranoid. But I told a worker, I was like, I think I'm being followed. I don't know if there's anything you guys can do about this. And he was like, there's not, like, they're not doing anything wrong. I was like, awesome. But something in my gut was just like, you need to leave. Like, you have to leave. So I put my cart back. I put my stuff back. I'm like, I'll just come tomorrow. And I start leaving. I start walking to my car. I don't see them. I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal. I'm sitting in my car, right in the parking lot. I'm on the phone. My doors are locked. I'm on the phone with my friend. I was like telling her what happened. And I see the two men walk out, and they're with a girl. And they were not with the girl in the store the entire 30 minutes I was in there. And I just had like a really bad feeling, right? I'm like, I don't think this girl knows them. Like, something isn't right. So in my head, I'm like, Lauren, think about your safety. Stay in the fucking car. But in my heart, I'm like, what if that girl needs your help, right? So I got out of the car, and I went straight up to the girl. It was like adrenaline took over. And I was like, do you know these men? And she said, they told me they hit my car in the parking lot and they wanted me to come see the damage. I was like, girl, I was just in Walmart for 30 minutes and they were in there. They didn't hit your car. I literally said that. And she's looking at me and I'm looking at her, and these two guys are standing there and I can tell they're getting fucking nervous. And I said, let's go back inside. I'm going to grab a worker. And those two men disappeared. Fucking disappeared. Like, when I tell you, I'm shaking. So this is just your reminder. Be aware of your fucking surroundings. And even if someone does actually hit your car in a parking lot, go out with a worker to go see it, okay? Because you're not safe. You're not fucking safe.
And it's worse now than ever before. Now that we know that there's like terrorists coming, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's worse now than ever before.
Yep. I totally agree. And you know what? That whole like, you know, oh, there's nothing we can do. And that she said, oh, I'm really paranoid. And I'm an idiot because I'm paranoid, blah, blah. You're not an idiot because you're paranoid. Always trust your gut. I tell my daughter that all the time. Always trust your gut. Like, you're not an idiot. If you feel something, like that's intuition. That's women's intuition, and it's always right. So trust it.
Yeah, well, the other comments that I saw on the video, if somebody ever says, hey, I just hit your car, how would they ever know that it was your car, right? Like,
right.
the question to ask, because your immediate instinct is to be like, oh crap, let's go look at it. But what you should be saying, you should actually act like somebody else suggested this. You should act like you have a totally different car than you do and say something like, oh, you mean the blue Volvo? And if they say yes, then you know that something's up, right? Because you don't have a blue Volvo or whatever.
Right.
So it's just being aware and not immediately falling for that kind of stuff, which is so easy to do. So easy to do, because you would immediately think, oh, especially if they're nice, right? If they're like, I'm so sorry, I think I just hit your car. And you think that they're completely nice and helpful. No, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So anyway, just a good reminder of that. Look, I don't usually like small dogs, as you know, but this is the most precious creature. Look at this.
Oh. Oh my God, little poodle. Poodles are sweet.
I mean, this is the cutest.
Poodles are really sweet.
Oh my gosh. So patient with bath time. Look at that face.
That dog will get demolished in my house. I mean, it would never survive a day, but it's really sweet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
Look
my
at
God.
his little hat.
You're so going to have one of these when you're like 70 years old. You're going to have one. I can seriously, you're gonna call me and you're gonna be like,
handle a big dog anymore.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, look what I got. I got a little like dog I can dress, and you're gonna carry it in your purse and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my God. So cute.
Mock.
Somebody has like taken audio of I don't even know who and like put it over Jessica Simpson singing. Because I don't know if you guys know Jessica Simpson, when she sings, she makes the most ridiculous faces.
She does all that. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so somebody put this audio over it, and it's so funny to me.
You take my breath, you take my breath, you take my breath. You take my breath away, you take my breath away, you take my breath away. Oh no.
Oh my God.
Why did she do that?
I don't know. I don't know, but that was awesome.
Oh my God. I know that you have dogs that you can't have in with you during podcasts because they can get a little
rowdy. They
rowdy.
They will destroy the room and they'll hurt me in the process. Yes.
But then there's other dogs that are not quite as large as yours who can still be very problematic when you're trying to work.
Oh my God. He's like, I would like to type something. I would like to type up a memo. I would like to perform a memorandum.
No.
Please. This is the thing.
And then lastly, I have to show you the sweetest donkey. So
oh my God.
Donkey,
I follow this guy.
You follow this donkey?
I love him.
Guy?
I love this guy and the donkey. Yes.
Well, the donkey was seeing itself in the camera and having a little bit of a self-consciousness problem. And so he got a little pep talk.
The thing is, Ronnie, right, what you see in the mirror is just your perception. Okay? It doesn't have to be like that. Other people see you differently. Okay? So don't take it to heart. And also, the camera adds £10 apparently.
True.
So don't worry about that either.
Look at his mouth.
As far as don't get upset about it. It's fine. You don't have to quiver your bottom lip, but it's fine. Just keep a very positive mental attitude and a positive self-image. Very important. Okay? That's it.
I love everything about that video. I could love that a million times and I wouldn't love it enough.
So sweet.
Yeah, they do that. Donkeys will do that. And my cows do that every once because they'll see themselves and they're like, what?
Do they get lip quivers?
They don't get the lip quivers, but they see themselves and they want to bang that they get right up in the camera because they don't understand, but they do see themselves. Yeah. And I wonder if they're like, God, I am hideous. What is that?
Why would they think that?
I don't know why they would think that, but I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. Yeah, just beautiful. I guess I should probably get. Speaking of beautiful, let me go get.
I'm gonna embiggen so we can make sure to see the entire Astrid in full because it's time for flaps. You said it, Eugene. Flaps.
Where are you? Where are you, spunky girl? Come on.
Come on.
Hey,
come
where
on.
Are you?
It's time to do some digging, some
Who's not
flapping.
coming? Hey, Astrid.
Where was she?
I don't know where she is.
Astrid. What the heck? Did you not see her when you went out?
No, she'll come. Oh, here she is. She was being lazy. She already flapped. It was a pre-flap.
What a sweet
I
girl.
was just taking a nap. I was so tired. She already flapped, you guys. So it was a pre-flap.
She did. She'll probably do it again. You kiss her, she'll do it again.
Oh, she
So
comes
good.
through. God, she
So
understands the assignment, don't you?
Always.
Always. Hugs. Lots of hugs. Hugs for everybody. Hugs. You guys, I hope you have what is today? Tuesday? Is it
It's
Tuesday?
only Tuesday.
It's only God, it was the Mondayest Monday yesterday. Was it?
It's like a Monday-ish Tuesday,
It's
really.
so weird. Yeah. And she's digging to China. You guys. Everybody have the greatest Tuesday, and we will talk to you tomorrow.